Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this one we're going to be talking about how to visualize our audio spectrums inside of Unreal. Before we get super into it, I want to talk about frequencies before anything. And right here I have a spectrogram where we're going to visualize an audio track, and then we're going to talk about what frequencies exist so that when we go back into the engine and we talk about FFT data, we're going to have a better understanding of frequencies and how to analyze a spectrum. So here's our funky little beat, and make sure you watch the spectrogram as it plays. So already you see a ton of little lines. The more red and the more consistent they are, that's where most of the frequencies are. So for example, we have some bass in here, we have some highs, and we have some mids, which is why I chose this one, because this particular track has a lot of every little frequency, so we can kind of show what exists in the mix. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bandpass this, and we're going to kind of go over these little tiny numbers down here at the bottom. So what you can see here is this is 20 hertz, this is 50, 100, 200, 500, 1000, 2000, and so on, all the way up to 10,000. The highest frequency we can hear as humans is 20,000. The lowest frequency we can hear is 20. We have a lot of room to play there, but essentially, the best way I can put it is everything below 200 hertz is bass or low frequencies. Everything above there until, in my opinion, about 6,000 hertz is midtones, maybe even 10,000 hertz. And then everything above that is just what you could consider highs. So as I go through here, you're going to actually hear the audio track change. So just listen for these bass notes, then listen for these midtones, and then of course the high tones. So here we can see this is bass, just pure bass isolation. Sounds like we're outside of a club. This is midtones. And this is highs. So now when we go into Unreal Engine, hopefully we'll have a better understanding of the frequencies. In Unreal, I'm just going to import our funky beat. Here we go. Sounds like it imported correctly. Then we're going to actually click the beat, and we're going to enable something called FFT, analysis. So FFT is fast Fourier transform, which you don't really need to know what that means, but we're using this to analyze the spectrum. This needs to be turned on for your audio file so we can actually bake it, and then we can have set up frequencies to actually analyze. So they already have set up here what looks like lows, mids, and highs. These are the four that we're going to use by default, and when we actually get in the game, we'll see how this works. So on begin play, we're going to go ahead and play a sound. Actually, we'll spawn the sound. That way we can have access to this. Type FFT. Get the cook to FFT data, and for our sound asset we select the beat. Let's go ahead and make an array, and we're going to use 4 frequencies. We had 100 hertz, 500 hertz, 1000 hertz, and 5000 hertz. I think that was actually it, right? Yeah, 1000, 5000. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we'll just get 0, and we'll break this. Now let's just print. We'll just get the magnitude of this and we'll print it on a tick. Obviously, we need kind of a reference first, so before I do anything, actually, we're just going to go ahead and promote this. Just going to call it track. The reason I do this is so that when we're actually in the tick, we can get a reference to it. Oh, and we can pull this off completely and use the tick as such. So now when we hit play, we'll actually be able to analyze our first index. Oh, I have to actually get the track. We can analyze our first index, which is actually 0, which is 100 hertz. Well, we get 0, which is, again, 100 hertz. What is 100 hertz doing at that magnitude at that exact point in time based on the tick? Well, let's find out. You have to plug it in, though, first. So you can kind of visualize it a little bit. Not really, but you can still kind of see what's going on. This goes between 1 and 100, I think, or maybe 0 and 100. That's something we're going to need to keep in mind for later. And then I guess we'll make some kind of pretty little UI to visualize everything. You could use a UI, or you could use really whatever you want to use. Maybe you could use 3D components. Maybe you could make a person's mouth move based on the frequencies that are coming out of their voice. Whatever you want to do, we're just going to show you how to get this using a widget. Call it main widget. I'm just going to throw some progress bars in here. We'll just go ahead and click fill, and then we'll get 5 of these, or actually we'll get 4 of these. Okay, so I've got a very basic spectrum on the screen here. really basic stuff. I'm just going to call this, and we'll go ahead and create it on the screen. So create a widget, promote it, I'll just call it main, I guess. After that, we'll spawn our sound. And before we do anything with a tick, actually, just for best practice reasons, what you should do is you should take both of these and just check the validity of them. Make sure both these are valid, so is main valid, is track valid? If both of them are valid, we'll branch and then continue with what we're doing. Because the first few frames, I mean, it might not be called yet, and it'll generate errors, and then, I don't know, Unreal Engine will throw a fit. Let's get our widget. We'll get our bar, and we'll set the progress, or percent actually. I create a sequence so that we can get all 4 of them. We'll set that to the magnitude divided by 100, because the percentages of progress bars are based on 0 to 1% versus 0 to 100, so I divide by 100. And I'm pretty sure it is 100. If not, we'll change it, but for now, that's what we're going to do. Get bar 500, 1,000, and 5,000. I'll plug these all in. There's going to be quite a little bit of a code duplication here, but this is, this is kind of the dirty way to do it. If you want to create your own functions for this, you can, and probably should, actually. Make sure you're getting a copy. We'll do 1, 2, 3. Plug all these in, and we'll set our magnitude and divide these by each, and then plug them in accordingly. So let's hit play and see what happens. Oh, nothing, because I didn't add it to the viewport yet. Add to viewport. Make sure that's added. And so here's kind of the idea. So I noticed that the other bars aren't going up all the way at all, and actually I don't know exactly what the cause for that is. I'm imagining that I just need to divide by a different number. I'm not going to go through the craziness of trying to figure out what number that is yet, though. I know the magnitude comes over at different degrees. This is just the magnitude of the spectrum at said frequency, and I'm not entirely sure how Unreal Engine measures magnitude, but I hope this video helps you. I hope you learned a lot, and I look forward to seeing you next time.